Ben Askren gives his take on his old buddy Jorge Masvidal recently retiring from MMA on Daniel Cormier's YouTube channel. Askren said, "I thought Masvidal was going to come ready to fight harder. I think he looked a little bit out of shape. Jorge got really tired as the fight went on, and in the third round, Gilbert was just tagging him so many times. You know what, as much as I think Masvidal annoys me sometimes, I've always said his post-fight speech about a guy who started with nothing and made a lot of money and hopes he can inspire someone else to go chase their dreams. Like, I might not like Jorge Masvidal, but that's some good stuff. So you know what? I don't wish anyone poorly. I hope he has an enjoyable retirement." Michael Bisping and Anthony Smith on the Believe You Me podcast discuss a potential trilogy between Pereira Adesanya and Alex Pereira. Bisping thinks Pereira will make noise and try to run it back again with Izzy. Smith believes Pereira will be moving up to light heavyweight.
In his mind, he's closed it. But people are still always going to bring up, well, it's 3-1, it's 3-1. Well, like, it'd be real easy if he comes back, if they fight, they roll it back, he fights him, beats him again, however he beats him, and say, maybe it is 3-2. But it's 2-1 in the UFC, and that's what matters, and that's what we're...
Do you know, this will be a really telling thing, because I talked about this. Izzy, you've got to respect the man after losing 3 in a row and being knocked out twice. It will be very telling if Pereira's not making the noise for the rematch. Because as we 100%. Said before, it's not easy to come back when you've been knocked out and not have a warm-up fight and a tune-up fight and get your feels back, get your mojo back, to just say, no, I want you again. I don't care. Yeah, you knocked me out. That won't happen next time. You got lucky, or however you, what's the word I'm looking for? However you come
however you digest it.
However you come to terms with it, however you deal with it, that's on you. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see if Pereira's making noise pretty soon, saying, hold on, let's run it back. If he doesn't, then fair enough, because it's up.
That's a great point. Like, if he doesn't ask for it, then I'm not going to ask for it. If you don't want it, I don't want it.
No, if he doesn't make noise and ask for it, if his team, his management, his fans, if they're not all making noise and campaigning on social media, well, then of course it just moves on and maybe goes to 205 or whatever, fights whoever, you know. But he has to make noise. One would assume he's going to make some noise. I would.
I'm guessing he goes to 205.
The trilogy between Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena goes down at UFC 289 on June 10th. Amanda recently said that she was expecting to fight Irene Aldana, but is okay with running it back a third time with Juliana. Juliana Pena, however, claims the UFC threatened to strip Amanda Nunes of her bantamweight title if she refused to fight her. On the MMA Hour, Juliana went on to say she said I had to go fight Irene Aldana to fight for the belt against her, but I don't know how Irene comes up in this conversation at all. We're 1-1. This is the biggest women's MMA fight in history. It's a Rocky story. I think the UFC knows that. I think the UFC knows that they know how to do business. They know how to do big business and make big fights. It's the only fight that I called for. And I said, you know what? If you don't want to fight me, Amanda, which the brass told me directly, she does not want to fight me. I said to the UFC, I'm not fighting Irene. I'm fighting Amanda. When she decides that she's going to take that fight, you give me a call, because that's the only fight that I'm taking. I said, you know what? If you want, go ahead. Put Irene in front of me. Go ahead and make that Irene versus Amanda fight. And instead, you could skip the fight that makes the most sense for everybody and go ahead and do Irene and Amanda. They said that if she didn't fight against me, that she would be stripped, and so she had no choice but to fight me. She doesn't want to fight me. They told me she doesn't want to fight me, and she's being forced to fight me, because this is the only fight that makes sense. It bothers me so much when people say that, oh, it was a fluke, and she just had an off night, and everything like that. Because if you go back to any of my interviews and check any of my interviews from even 5 years ago, I was saying exactly how I was going to beat her and exactly what my plan was to take her down. And then I did the exact same thing when I fought her, so there was no fluke there. You can't call that a fluke when I've been saying exactly how I'm going to get it done the first time. Then you take it to the second time. Look, the thing of it is, Amanda had to fire her entire team. She had to go build her own gym. She had to change and revamp her entire style, come out southpaw. She had to do massive changes in order to beat me. So I said, listen, I give you the same rematch within 6 months. Turn around and do me the same favor. Allow me that same opportunity to make those adjustments, especially since we're 1-1. You got finished, you tapped out, you wanted to go home. You saw me in that fight. And I don't know if you remember or recall, but I had her dead rights in that armbar, and it must have been the blood in my eyes that made it so slippery that I couldn't finish that armbar. But the fight was a lot closer than I think a lot of people are giving me credit for, and that bothers me, because I feel like if you go back and watch that fight, let's just take out being dropped out of the equation, that fight was way closer than people want to give it credit for her, and she was in trouble the entire time. Daniel Cormier wants to see the trilogy between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya on his YouTube channel. DC said, I really do feel like they should do Izzy versus Alex right now because I also worry about Alex with guys like Marvin Vettori. I think Robert Whittaker is probably the worst matchup for Alex Pereira because he does not have the ability to take him down and kind of slow him down. The Izzy fight just kind of makes sense because they're 1-1, and Pereira was actually fighting really good on Saturday night. It felt like he was going to run away with the win. I feel like Alex was very aware early of the power of Adesanya, but I thought he felt like maybe the threat wasn't as great as the fight went on because he was having so much success. All of the official judges scored the first round for Israel Adesanya. I thought Pereira found success in that first round. I guess maybe I didn't see it as clearly as I thought. I think it's the right fight. Alex Pereira has announced that his next fight will take place in the light heavyweight division. He says he will still, however, keep an eye on Israel Adesanya. On his YouTube channel, Pereira went on to say, many people questioned my weight cut, but I always went there and fulfilled my obligation. But now is a great moment to move up a division. You see Adesanya's post-fight provocations. He treats this win like it's 3-1 for him, and it's not quite like that. I understand his joy, or try to understand it. It was his dream to win once against me, and he's done it. But let's see what his behavior is now. I'm moving up a division now, and that's my decision. But I'm sure that if I stayed in this division, I could fight him immediately. Let's see how he behaves. I'm not going up because I can't make the weight anymore. I can make the weight at any moment. He's behaving like that because Dana White talked about my weight right after the fight, and it looks like he thinks this guy will never make 185 again. So I'll provoke him and there's nothing he can do. I'm sure I could fight him immediately if I insisted on this. The organization and my managers would make this fight. Jamahal Hill has a message for Pereira after he posted that video. Jamahal posted this to his Instagram. He wrote, welcome. Can't wait to see you, Alex Pereira.
Boy, come on, man.
Pereira left a response in the comment section. He wrote, I am coming and I will kick your door in. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post future ones. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to Dana White having some harsh words for the schmo. The first one's from Joey5. Says, I feel bad for the schmo. He thought he was asking a genius level question, but instead nearly got himself Hawani'd. The second one's from Jay Kang. Says, schmo was just trying to ask a fun and silly question. Dana is acting like he was instigated. And the final one's from Punjabi Piccolo. It says, if only Dana didn't prevent actual good questions like he has done in the past. He created this type of environment. It was all good when Conor was randomly talking smack to fighters in other divisions, or even when Cody and Sugar Sean had their encounter at a press conference. But all of a sudden it's bad now? Strange. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured on the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. If you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen to get caught up. And make sure to go subscribe to our second channel where we post our exclusive MMA interviews.